Hey everybody, it's Safi and Marco Dish Out on Movies, the only movie review show on YouTube to review movies in terms of food. It's just Marco here once again, and as promised, I am here to rank. It's starting to be like a habit now. Every single video, it's like I've always been used to saying that opener. But now I'm going to be used to saying, I'm here to rank. Even though tomorrow I'm just going to be reviewing a movie. Okay, so I am here to rank the American Horror Story New York City Characters. Now, first off, just my overall thoughts on the season. I think that this season is a mixed bag. There were a lot of great things about it. I actually don't think it was as bad as I thought at first. But the biggest issue was the fact that you could tell that the people who made it were too focused on Dahmer. And so it took away their focus from this show. And it made it to where this was basically Dahmer 2.0, but a lesser version. And as well, they aired 2 episodes a week, which I hated. But I think that it was a little bit of a smart decision in a way, because some of the episodes were like 30 minutes only. And I really felt like this, I don't know, like it just feels so like, I don't know, like just not very much attention was put into it. It felt like something that was thrown together in a weekend, and there are a lot of problems, but overall this is a better season than season 10 and season 5. I will say I haven't seen seasons 6, 7, 8, and 9, so I don't know if this is better than those, but anyway, first off, I have 5 tiers. Now, instead of having a fuck you tier, I actually don't have a fuck you tier for this season. I replaced the fuck you tier with can't remember. And I have 3 characters in that who I literally can't remember who they are at all. Then I have dumb and dull. Then I have could have been better, had good moments, and near perfect, which I should have changed that. I was supposed to put the best, even if the story sucked. Sorry for not changing that. This is another person's tier list. So, anyways, these 3 characters for can't remember, I really can't. Like, I think that the last 2, the black drag queen and then the woman, I think that they're like owners of different gay bars, if I'm not mistaken. Very, very just background, uninteresting characters. Nothing to them at all. And then this guy, I don't even know who this guy is. It says his name is Morris, I guess. I can't remember him at all, so, he didn't leave any impact on me whatsoever. But then again, most of the characters this season didn't leave an impact on me. There were some very poor characters this season. So now for the dumb and dull. First off, you got Kumar is this police chief. He's a homophobic police chief. And he's really like kind of one-dimensional, I've noticed that in the majority of the seasons for American Horror Story, the police characters are very one-dimensional, and they're very stereotyped. Like, they're either really racist, or really homophobic, or really bad in some way. And, none of them are really 3-dimensional characters. And I think it hurts the stories, because every season, it's like with Safi, she's been watching season 4, And she just keeps on questioning, like, why are the police acting like this? Like, it's not really realistic for the most part. Like, a lot of it is, but, it's really just feels like laziness, to where it would take more effort to write the story if the police did their jobs. And to me, I think the biggest thing was that, casting this big actor, Kumar, he hasn't done a lot of stuff in a while, and I was really looking forward to seeing him, and I just don't understand why he was so underutilized. They had this whole thing with like a cowboy, where they had this guy being interrogated, and then they had a cowboy come in and punch him in the face for no reason, and they never even explained that or anything, and it just felt like there was a lot left to be desired with the police on the show. Next up is Sandra Barnhart. She was very stereotypical. I mean, all the characters this season were really like offensive, ugly stereotypes of gay people. And Sandra Barnhart, she has this like weird story where she walks into the news with her friends, and she's like, where's the lesbian stories? You and I talk about the lesbians in New York. And there's this whole weird story where she's given like a job as a typist out of nowhere, so that she can I just like, oh god, this season. But the only thing interesting is that they actually kind of rip off a season 4 story and see, now that I'm rewatching the seasons, I'm seeing that they're copying stuff too. Because the whole story with her being a tarot card reader, that's the only thing interesting about her character. And it's basically just a cheap like thing where like, oh, the death card is everyone. Everyone gets the death card, and it just was like, her character could have been a lot stronger. She just felt like kind of a plot convenience character. At the top of Dumb and Dull is Ursula. Ursula from season 10. This is the wife of one of the main gay characters, and she's just kind of there. Like, she never really has much to her. The only time where I really liked her was in the finale, where she was kind of like a Christmas Carol type of character, where she was comforting her husband and her ex-husband and like singing to him, I think, and that was really cool. But other than that, I really wish they'd give her a good character, because she's like, I just not liked any character that they've given her on the series. So now we're in the could have been better. First off, we have the doctor woman. Can't remember her name. She's the daughter of Princess Leia, obviously. And her character is basically this doctor who discovers the AIDS virus first. She sees it before anyone else does. And her character was just another plot convenience character where, like, she wasn't really a full character. She was just kind of there to give information, like in one of those old B movies where you have the doctor character who says, I think that this is actually the vampire virus, and I am going to tell you about vampires now, because nobody in this universe knows about vampires. So next up is the boyfriend photographer. This guy was in season 10, and he was playing one of the obnoxious millennial characters. He did a better job in this season. He was kind of styled after Robert Mapplethorpe, And honestly, he was pretty good. I mean, he showed to me that he was a good actor. I just wish that the character was more three-dimensional. He was an okay character, but at a certain point, he was just a part of this stupid love triangle, and it was really uninteresting. At the top of the could have been better is a character who I don't even know what to say. This is Big Daddy. So he's this S&M leather guy walking around. He's gigantic. He's probably like 300 pounds of solid muscle. And he always wears a black mask, so you can't see his face. And he kills a lot of people. At one point, he sets one of the gay bars on fire, and he seems to be the second villain of the season, next to Mr. Whiteley. But then, as the season goes on, there are some weird things, and so at one point, he just pops up out of nowhere and kills the wife, who's at the top of the Dumb and Dull. And it felt like, why is he there? Why is he killing her? How did he get there? Just none of it's explained. And it felt like I wanted to see him be a villain, like a second villain. Instead, all they do with his character is they actually say the shitty theory that I thought in the first episode, which was I thought he's the Grim Reaper. He shows up because people are going to die. And that's exactly what they do with him. It's a very uninteresting kind of cop-out tactic where he's just there when people die, and that's it. It's very unfortunate. I was really looking forward to, hearing his backstory. And, honestly, this season took a lot from season 4, because what I think of now is Twisty the Clown, and how the whole time he doesn't talk, his mouth is covered, you wonder how did that happen, what's his story, is he a human, is he a monster, and then you find out his backstory, and it's a really good backstory. With the Big Daddy character, you never get that. It's just, he's the Grim Reaper and stuff. Even though the Angel of Death woman from season 2 was already supposed to be the series' Grim Reaper, so I don't understand that. Okay, I'm gonna take a drink. In the Had Good Moments section, we have Patti LuPone. I think that's her name. I put her here because, she's a good singer, and, she was good for her character, what her character was. She was in season 3, and in season 3 her character was really kind of pointless. Even though the character was good, it was a good villainous character, she was kind of useless. And I think at least in this character did feel kind of interesting. She technically probably could have been better character, though. Like a lot of these characters, honestly, this season felt like it had a lot more potential than it ended up, than what ended up happening. Next up is Zachary Quinto. Everyone was excited for this season because they knew that he was returning. I was too. I was excited to see what he would do because he's just good in anything that he's in. However, his character ends up being kind of cliche. Like, he's mostly this season, he's just a part of this stupid love triangle. But he was almost like a Scrooge character where he just uses gay men, and he just throws them at the side of the road and abuses them, and he's really like a lonely, miserable, like Scrooge character. And it's really sad because they have this whole episode where he's being redeemed, and he's being like shown the error of his ways by ghosts, exactly like A Christmas Carol. And I was so excited because I thought, ooh, cool. In the next episode, he's gonna survive, come back, and he's gonna fix all the problems. And it's gonna be like this really cool redemptive arc. But of course, an American Horror Story, there's no redemption. Nobody can ever be redeemed, which is very unrealistic. Next up is Adam. So this character, he's kind of like the main character in a way. His best friend goes missing, and he's trying to find out where he is, who killed him. You kind of want him to succeed, but at the same time, he's just another character in the love triangle. So he just kind of ends up falling flat. He really doesn't have as many good moments as the best characters at the top, and so he's just going to kind of be there at the top of the had good moments. But overall, he was okay. But the weird part was the fact that even though he was supposed to be gay, he really didn't come off that way. Like him and the doctor, he has this weird side story where he's her sperm donor, and they seemed like a better couple than him and his boyfriend on the show. And I say just like boyfriend because it's just a stupid love triangle story, and it doesn't last for long. In the best tier, we have Mustache Man. Now, I really like this actor, obviously. He was in Being Human, the British original version, and he's pretty good. He's a great leading man. He's a great protagonist to want to follow, and he was a very interesting sort of half and half good and evil character. And by the end of the season, he is just a badass the way that he shoots people. He just shoots them right in the head one time, no matter like where they are. Like, he is just so good at shooting that they almost should have had like some sort of a suspenseful scene where he's, having to shoot someone and he's only got one bullet left or something. Like, I was expecting something with that to happen, because he does not miss, and there's this whole backstory with him too, and he's a very likable character. Although he does have a couple little side stories that never go anywhere. So next up is Gino. Now, Gino's character, he was, we really hated him when this season started. In fact, like, I'll never forget like how irritating he was at first. But then when I watched it again, I was like, wow, this is probably one of my favorite performances I've seen all year. Was this hilarious, over-the-top theater performance where you have this like pretentious old like gay reporter and he's always got this messenger bag, and he's always wearing like the same clothes, and he's always like in a bad mood because at the drop of a hat he's just like, no, he throws these like angry fits just out of nowhere, and it is just the funniest thing I've ever seen. Like, he is so good that really I hope that they keep him for more seasons, because I wanted to just watch him by the end of the season. I just wanted to see him screaming and having these like little fits of rage. But the surprising part is that in the finale, he actually dials it back, which is what I said that he should do. And then he was actually likable, and so he is actually able to be a great actor. It's just that for the first part of the season, he was really over the top to the point where it was just like every scene he was in was like laugh out loud hilarious. Like there's this scene in the finale where he's like, "Hey baby, I got the good stuff. It's applesauce but with cinnamon." And he's like he knows that his boyfriend has AIDS, and he takes the spoon after the guy eats it and he licks the spoon. I mean, you just can't make this stuff up with this character, with Gino. He is like I don't know. It was just so hilarious, his character. But he wasn't supposed to be hilarious, you know? Like, that's the even funnier part, is that people actually were supposed to take Gino seriously. So, these top two characters, they're almost interchangeable, because this really was the best part of the season. There's a serial killer named Mr. Whiteley, and they have this whole really cool backstory where it turns out that he's the cleanup guy for the gay mafia, and he's like 7 feet tall, and Mr. Whiteley, he is just so menacing and so creepy, and he is so good at playing this character that I would almost say that he deserves an award more than Evan Peters as Jeffrey Dahmer. And I know that that'll make people go, ugh. But I really loved his character. Every time he came on screen, I was excited to see what he would do. And just, he's perfect. The perfect villain. And then at the top is the guy who played Stanley in season 4, and he's in every season, I think. And he plays this game mafia enforcer. The only thing that I don't like about his character is that he has this ridiculous looking hairpiece, and it's like the most like fake looking hairpiece I've ever seen. It looks terrible. And it looked terrible from the beginning all the way to the end. But he was a really, really awesome character. Like, by the end of this season, he was my favorite part of the show. He was the coolest character. And he's actually the one who kind of saves the day. He's handcuffed with one hand, and he chainsaws his own hand off so that he can go fight the bad guy and help save the day. Which I thought was funny, because in season 4, of course, he's the one who takes away another character's hands. And so it was funny that he did the reverse in this. And then he had this kind of little sad love story where it turns out he's in love with Gino. And honestly, the thing that I thought of watching this season was that they should have made the enforcer the main character, and they should have had it, because just imagine, like, have we ever really seen like a crime murder story in the perspective of a mafia enforcer? Like, that would be really pretty interesting. And so that could have been a much better angle to play this season than the tired cliche gay reporter angle, where he's this reporter who cares, and he cares about the truth, and he cares about getting the truth out there. And it's just like, you've seen it all before, but you've never seen this other character, like if he had led the season. But he was definitely my favorite character for sure. Like, he completely stole the show in the second half. So anyways, please like this video, comment, tell me who your favorite and least favorite characters were. Overall, I felt like they did come up with a couple of great characters. And this, as I said, this is a better season than Season 10 and Season 5. So goodbye, everybody. See you soon.